Okay, Madeline, I'm going to ask you really quick. What did we kind of cover? What could you kind of help us know that we just covered on that little exercise? But basically, we're dealing with special live POs, kind of the difference between a vendor-specific and a vendor multi, if you will, kind of generic. Can you kind of help us recap for just a second?
Well, and I know I'm going to go back and read that help feature there and soak that up again, but you went through the 6 types of POs that we could choose. So there's the basic live, and then the basic, which I can't remember what the name was for it, that would be like a pending, but I want to make a quote and just kind of hang on to it. Then you've got the special live, which allows us to do multi-vendors, one product going into the same bin, and the special live, the special request, which is like a quote or give me a price quote. I mean, educationally, I can't buy one dang thing without having quotes from the whole world, so
sure,
that would come in handy a lot. The update one allows us to do like when you're doing an inventory, or you know that you had a part of your store burned or something, you've got to make adjustments on your inventory. And I liked how that update showed when we were reviewing some of that history stuff, that, it showed it's a system entry so that it marks it pretty clearly what you're doing. And then the internal build is a lot for those ones that, like your mom's going to have, where she has bits and pieces and puts it in together, etc. But this, watching what Shannon just did, that, I can visualize this happening. I have no idea where a company's going, or even if you're assisting somebody in building, you'll probably set it up and then you find a better price somewhere, so you switch it and you use that special so that you can get the multi-vendors in there. Finally made the connection that wild wanderings with Shannon's company. Once you're used to that, but your idea of saying generic items or something might clue in with somebody a little bit better. Pretty amazing.
Totally made up.
So there I just talked, but that's what I remember off the top of my head.
Perfect. Cheryl, I'm going to ask you real quick, and then Mark, we're going to have you comment, and then we're going to go on to the next subject. Or if you guys have questions, please holler, because we want to help you out. We're doing great, but I just want to make sure we're stable, and then we'll move forward.
I guess Madeline covered it great. I appreciate the fact that there's those different POs so that you can, because again, starting out, a PO was something that Wayne would do at Bridgerland where he'd have to request it. It wasn't paid for and it had to come in. So, understanding that it's just strictly in name just to bring things in.
Sure.
The part I love the most about all this is absolutely everything. You have a place to document every single step, every single process. The history is there. There cannot be any questions. It's obvious what happened. And when we mess up in the process, I could go to that history and figure out, tax purposes, everything's being tracked. It's pretty amazing. It's scary, isn't it?
It is scary. It is scary.
Have you found anybody jump on this because of that, because of fraud and things like that? Just having that little watchful guard over the top of their employees a little bit?
It creates what we call accountability, okay?
Absolutely.
And so what the cool thing is I was actually helping a company, and they were trying to adjust their books, and it was a mess. They were all over the place. And they're like, well, it looks like we need to just run about $100,000 to cost of goods. And they're like, why don't you do that? And I was like, my name's going to be on that. I'm not going to touch that one. Okay? So automatically, I knew that behind the scenes it was going to record a history. Even though it's just a $100,000 entry, but I don't want to do the $100,000 entry.
But the trick is that's a training thing with your employees. You train your employees that this is what's happening. And I think it would alleviate all this fraudulent stuff I see happening, that I keep wondering how people get away with taking $75,000 and nobody actually saw it yet happening.
Can I show you something that's kind of interesting? This is today, okay? Just today's date. We've made 26 entries in POs. These are things that I've either added, updated, changed, whatever. I've added 1 new vendor or some sort of a vendor change. I've made 4 employee changes. This is probably me just updating my own permissions.
Right.
Watch this. I'll just click on it just for fun. Click. Okay, PO 15 Mark's Farm. I created it, received it. It's this. At this time, 10:02 at 10:10 at this, I started doing this and this and this and this and this. This is all behind the scenes. I didn't add any of this, okay? So this is literally walking down step by step by step by step by step by step, okay? What's happening? This is just in the PO section.
Have you had anybody use this to track questionable behavior yet that you're aware of? Have you had
Yes
those
and no.
stories?
Yes and no. And what happens is every company has potentially people who are shady or like, oh, I'm just going to allow you right here. What you do is first off we say, the first thing you do is, do you even want them to sign in? Okay, you do? No problem. How many permissions out of 100 do you want them to have? 10, that's it. And maybe even limited at that, okay? Great, 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 okay? Then they go in there, and what happens is you virtually can pull yourself up, okay? Imagine somebody on a street level with cars going all around and all this kind of stuff. Okay, where do you want to be? Do you want to be on the street watching everything go, or do you want to kind of be up a little bit like a helicopter watching stuff? All you do is you just say, I'm going to pull up a little bit, okay? I see this going on, that's good. Oh, there's Mike over there, and there's Tom over there, good. What did Tom do? Like, you could totally check on it without actually being right next to Mike or Tom.
Or
So,
even there knowing that you're doing that from the background?
oh, it's huge.
You know,
It creates the accountability, okay? And accountability is actually, it's a cause and effect relationship. And so this whole thing, it's very funny that we go there, but we have a number of core concepts inside of Adilas, okay? I'm going to pull them up for just a quick second, but I think you're going to go, oh my goodness, I get it now, I get it, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up a new tab, and I'm going to go right to the main Adilas homepage, and I'm going to pull up this little thing that we call Adilas 101. It's a little formula. Fairly new little document, probably made 2 months ago, max, okay? So there's this little thing, we're trying to mix functions, players, and concepts to get results, okay? It's just a small little piece of the puzzle. Look at this right here. Madeline, what you're talking about are all of these little pieces. Players, who's involved, relationships, what are they touching, how does that do stuff? Okay, what are we trying to do? We're trying to track our stuff, we're trying to do this and this and this. Who made a choice? What was the decision? When did they flip it? All this kind of stuff. What did that actually do to my payables? You know, like cause and effect. And then it ends up coming to accountability, clear down to this thing called the story. We track the story.
So in your story,
Yeah.
is it a story of everything that was done on that particular system?
Global.
No, but I mean,
It's the login, it's the
So-
user login.
every time this box talked,
To
that
the
went
server.
into the story.
Correct. Anytime there's an act, I can look at anything and it doesn't record that. That's like window shopping, okay? But if you touch, you alter, you change, you add, that's physically.
I know where he's going with the security issues, because
something-
everybody that's work that leaves their system open.
Okay, so if somebody leaves their system open, guess what? I was logged in as Brandon, and you guys are using my computer in here in this class. Well, guess what? If you were to look at that, I bet you I didn't make all of those changes. It may have been Shannon who was actually in here. It's tied to the login, the person's ID number when they are logged in. But that is a good, is that where you were headed, Mark? Or?
Oh, just partially, no.
Okay.
I was looking more like, well, you know, is it the whole story? Or is it just the story that has to do with Adilas?
That's a great question, and I'm going to let you determine that. I don't even know if I know the answer. Okay.
It's got to be, I mean, it's the Adilas
I just-
changes that we're making.
Yeah, but it's so go back to the story.
Sure, no problem. Okay, now are we talking historically or effectual? Because there's a difference, okay? Historical says Brandon touched this at 12:22 p.m. on the 27th. That's historical. On the 28th, he did this. Effectual is what dates was I really playing with and where did they play? It's different. It's slightly different, okay? And we will show you both. We can show you both.
Isn't one a subset of the other?
Sorta. Sorta. What if today I was actually modifying something that we did yesterday? Historically, it happened today, but effectually I'm dealing with something yesterday. Okay, so we're playing a long time. We're literally taking objects and data over time, and we're trying to track it. That helps create the story.
Because I get call after call after call from employers, and you see the net result being right now that everybody's doing background checks on everybody. Background checks, trying to alleviate the theft problem, the issues that they have. Where something like this, you train your employees that, you know, we have faith in you, but the reality is the world now is that we keep track of everything. So we want you to be aware that everything's getting tracked. Therefore, don't step out of the bounds. I mean, I think it
Play well.
Yeah,
Play well, we'll let you keep playing.
I can see a big advantage in being able to say to somebody, there's very little that can't be seen. I mean, it's the big brother scenario that everybody hates, but it's the only answer we have, because background checks, like they say to me, they're not working either. And I go, of course, because you have first-time offenders, you have different offenders, you have people that offended but were never caught. I said a background check doesn't tell you anything except, you know, what they were caught at doing.
Sure. I'm not sure if I have the permission. I'm going to check, but watch this. Just for fun, I'm going to click all. Okay. So we've got vendor change. We added Mark's Farm at 9:50. At 10:02, we created a new PO. Like I can now it's mixing instead of just being under POs. I'm doing this. Oh, looks like we added a part. Okay. Oh, looks like I added another part. This one was propane. It's almost walking me through my day, okay? Looks like under natural gas I made a couple edits, okay? Remember how we had to add a special custom unit of measurement?
Right.
It's tracking some of those different pieces. This literally is, oh, Shannon was up here and kind of doing a bunch of little things, kind of updating some of the hydro packs and stuff like that. What I wanted to just show you is that any point in time, if you click on this, I can go here, or I can go to show me the full history of PO 26. I can actually click on this, and this is the condensed version. The next thing I wanted to show you, and I'm not sure if I even have this permission turned on. Okay, I don't. Okay, this is called History and Reports. Very, very powerful one. So watch, I'm going to turn it on. Users, I'm going to find my name. This is under System Reports, Core User History. Okay. This one is purple, so it's kind of starting to get into like sort of an admin kind of level versus, it's not red, but it's like, ooh, you're letting everybody see everything. Bottom of the page, edit that payee. Now when I go home, history and reports. This is just for today, okay? So we've done 14 POs for $36,000. We've marked 14 of them as received. On the line items, we've added 41 line items, which is also, for right in here, there's a slight disconnect, so that means that there's probably a potential problem. I can look at these in general. Here's all the line items we've added, okay? Or I could say, why don't you group that up for me? I don't necessarily want to scroll through all of that. Here's the grouped version of that, okay? This is just behind the scenes. Here's a ton of parts. We have 62 items we've added now. If I wanted to, I could click on this. Here's our categories, okay? And you can kind of see how it breaks into, eventually this is how it ends up looking on your financials, okay? Into your general thing, here's our wild wandering water bottles, and et cetera, et cetera. If I wanted to click on this, I literally could get up, here it is, and I currently have 270 installed. Like we haven't done anything, but behind the scenes it's catching and categorizing and doing all sorts of cool stuff, okay? Look at this, fight parts. And depending on where you wanted to do your stuff, you could, like, it just allows, these are the vendors, okay? So this is a category and this is a vendor, but I could pull up any of these pieces that I wanted to. Here's your Arc'teryx pieces. Here's your hydro packs, okay? And here's the current quantities, 15, 15, 15. If I wanted to, I could go into usage to physically see where did this come in, where we track. Like, you have to realize when we say story, we are serious about saying we track the story.
And if I'm over a department and I get used to looking at that data, I am very, very able, by reviewing those reports, to know when something is more awry. It would have to be pretty small and hidden before I wouldn't start noticing that something was going funny.
Correct. And some people try to do that kind of stuff. That's just human nature. I hate to say it, okay?
Oh, it is.
But what happens is you try to do what you can. You can't live in a perfect bubble. You set up the surveillance, which is basically the system history. You also say, just so you know, we're going to track that, and you let them know that straight up, and then you only give them certain permissions, and then you hope that they play in that realm. And you can see multiple pieces that we've tried to click on, and we get denied. Okay, nope, sorry, you don't have that permission. So ideally, you're checking those permissions right off the bat. That helps. Okay, it also helps with logins. At any point in time, if I wanted to shut you off, Madeline, you're currently logged in right this minute. If I was having a problem with you, I could technically stop that right this second, even though you're already logged on. You could still see whatever was on your screen, okay, but you're not going to be able to interact with it at all. Because every single page checks user, corporation, permission. Is there a match between those three? Okay, you may pass. It checks a three-way check every single page. So that's some of the security that we've kind of built into it from behind the scenes. What I wanted to do really quick is watch this. Effectual, historical, like you can flip-flop. This is still under construction, but the financial is like, how does this stuff play over time? Oh, this was receivables. Oh, now we'll go to here, et cetera, et cetera. Now it got moved to the bank, like kind of showing this. This is futuristic. Imagine a 3D balance sheet, okay? So imagine like this miniature little movie of seeing this little corporation grow. Well, if we have all this data and we're able to run it over time, instead of saying, okay, it's going to take me a day to crunch all this data, what if you said each day equals a second?
Wow.
You could virtually do a 3D balance sheet or any of those type of financials on that level. It's not done yet. It's not done yet. But that's where we're kind of headed with some of that stuff. What I wanted to do is just do this. Why don't we flip this to weekly? We've currently got a couple little pieces right here. I said weekly, and it's currently under effectual. Get the report. Great. Yesterday, we were cranking out the invoices. Okay? Tons of them. 20 invoices. We did a couple counter sales, a bunch of customer invoices. We did a bunch of little things. Here's all my special line items. Anything that was under part number other, I could look at right here. What have we got? Okay? Other, organic happy eggs, carrot bunches, apples, oranges, whatever, okay? So basically, I want you to know, once it hits the system, it exists. All data is live and searchable. We had no clue what that even meant when we came up with an acronym. We are slowly starting to learn what all data is live and searchable means. We don't even know yet. But anyway, that was a little bit of a side trip. I just wanted to show you this history page. I live here because this is where, like, if I go pop into Adilas, what's happening today or this week or this or that, whatever, okay? In a real life scenario, I'm going to switch for a second just to Adilas just to show you how I use it, okay? We'll switch over here to, this is me switching into Adilas. Okay, today it looks like there was a small little deposit. Oh, it looks like, okay, I can already see a small disconnect. Looks like 549 has come in, but only 97 has really been recorded, so it probably means there's a small disconnect. No problem. Invoices, looks like 2 invoices went out today for this small little amount. Looks like there was a customer scan and an image log, and there was 1 new flex grid time. Okay, so like I can tell exactly what's going on. What if I said, you know what? Why don't we do this for just for fun? Let's see, where are we at for the month of June right now for Adilas? And I realize I'm kind of showing some numbers and some different things like this, but I want to show you what this information is. Okay, elements of time. I've got 19 calendar items that have been added. Okay, a bunch of them have end dates, some of them don't. I've added a bunch of things. Here's a bunch of deposits. Looks like about 9,000 right now, just for fun. We've 77 invoices doing about 10,000, and it kind of gives me a bunch of information as far as what's going on. Looks like 11 scans were added to invoices. We've got a bunch of different payments that came in, reoccurring invoices. I have, like, I just want to show you real data, okay, just to kind of let you know. And I realize that it kind of might say, oh, wow, this is where their company's at. We use Adilas for Adilas.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we really, really do. And so, look at this, 81 image scans for expense receipts, okay? If I click on this, okay, what do we got? Blah, 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 blah. Like, this is how we track our data, okay? We track it like this to whatever level it needs to be. Okay, someone was doing bank statements. I can tell what all these things are. David Birkencotter did this. It's expense receipt 3609. He did this on 611. Like, basically, it tells me tons and tons of different pieces of the puzzle. Here's $500 that was paid to my brother Jared for video editing, okay? I click on this. This is a little thing that Jared created, invoice number 2, and he basically did this whole little, basically this is my documentation that I added in for Jared creating me a small invoice saying, hey, I'm doing some video editing for you. I'm going to go ahead and jump out of the main Atlas and back to the playground, but I want you to know that this is how you do it. We are a small company. We are straight up, okay? But we have tons of other people that do stuff, and they're tracking tons and tons of different
Well,
data.
just looking at that, I mean, even that data right there, I think, oh my gosh, we literally, you can go paperless. Conveniently paperless.
It's fun. It's fun to see where it's going. It's not all built yet. And one of the things that's actually happened, I'm going to kind of slightly diverge. The reason we're having these training classes is we kept going like this. Okay, if we can just get this done, then we'll kind of like show everybody what we have. Oh man, what about this? Okay, if we just get this done, like we've done this for 10 years, okay? 10 years of hard crank, 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 look where we're going, and no one even knows at all. So we finally, what ended up happening, I hate to say this, I almost broke, okay? Like I was like, oh my goodness, I just can't run any faster or something. Finally, I was like, I guess we'll just have to kind of put it out as is and let people start doing it. But it's created this neat energy because it's kind of like, hey, guess what we do have? No one even knows about this product. No one knows about it at all. But it's very capable of doing lots and lots of stuff. So we haven't done any marketing. So we're still trying to kind of get a couple of these pieces in place to get them all ready because we can kind of see where we want it to go and where it is going. But that's the reason. That is the reason.
Going that way, it's pretty impressive. It's hard to start without things all in place, but it'll never be all in place. You're going.
We kind of had to come to that realization and kind of be like, you know what? I do have, like, I kept saying, well, I need to get the user manual done. There's just 50 million things left. Oh, we have to get e-commerce done. It's almost done, by the way. Like, we're planning on, I can show you right now pieces of e-commerce that are already online that no one has even seen in any sort of demos. They exist already. Settings, there's 20 new settings for e-commerce. Probably about 17 of them are fully live at this point. No one even knows about it yet. Okay? But like, there's neat things that are coming, but what we're trying to do is kind of start breaking out of that shell and saying, you know what, it is what it is, and we realize we're not fully done, and so, but guess what? We've had people who have paid for this thing for years and have enjoyed it. There's a company that sells trailers. We hardly even ever hear from them. They probably paid over $30,000 to use Adilas. Just small little monthly payments, but year after year after year. And this was years and years ago before we even had all this stuff. That was when it was just vendor-specific POs. That's all you had. Or you could just do stock units and maybe some floor planning. And so like it just keeps going and going. It's very interesting. But I kind of unbuttoned a little fly there, and I'm fine with that. But just so you know kind of where things are at.
That was good.
Awesome. Let's go ahead and do this. I need a break just to kind of recollect and recalculate and figure out where we want to go. Before we do this, this was actually an agenda for day one of Logan training, like that we did clear back in May. I didn't even put this out because I was like, I don't even know if we're going to get to all of this. We've probably got a good half of this done, and we're a day and a half into it, okay? So I think we've got a ton of neat things. I know we wanted to do returns, maybe some discount stuff just to make sure everybody knows how to do discounts. And then what else do we have on our
You
list?
also wanted to do a scenario like at the Bridgerland Cafe where you're helping people and then you come back.
Okay, great. So that's where we're going to be headed after our break, okay? Let's go ahead and take, where are we at? Let's go 10-minute break, 3 o'clock, we'll restart.